Matter, matter, Honorable Ngoma. Honorable Baines, do you want to switch on your video?
Hi, Zama.
Mm,
Hi.
Honorable Mokwele, good afternoon. Just mind the space above your head. So you're likely to cut off if you're speaking, your head will be cut off a little bit. There. Okay, perfect. So when you lean forward, just always mind your head, because you naturally you will lean forward when you speak. But it's perfect now. Thank you.
Matter,
Hi, Zama.
we can just ask all the honorable members to switch on their video so that you can get a sense from the grid. I think it would go much faster. I saw Honorable Ngobe is on the platform. Honorable Baines is there. I think you can just ask all of them to just switch on their videos.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
Honorable Swat as well.
No, thanks, Zama. I see Honorable Baines is perfect. I'm happy with that. Can the honorable members please switch on your videos? We are on the gallery view. We can see if you need assistance. We'll just call out your name so that we can assist. Honorable Mokwele, you are fine. Honorable Baines, you also okay. We assisted Honorable Noe earlier and Honorable Mabilo. We also assisted Honorable Midupi. So I'm not sure if there's any other honorable member who would like to be assisted. Please switch on your videos if you can hear me. The reason we are doing this is just to ensure that members are properly framed, and when you appear on television or on YouTube, at least it's a proper framing that appears you don't have the information going through your face. So that's the reason we're requesting, honorable members. And also to ensure that the light is or you're sitting on the right side of the light, and that when you are using the phone like Honorable Sibande is using now, please, Honorable Sibande, if you could rotate your phone to be on landscape, and then I can see where you are. The light is behind you. So if you can change and make sure that you face the light. Right now it's behind you. And then please change the rotation of your phone to be on landscape as well. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm happy with Honorable Swart as well. Thank you, sir.
Madam, I saw Minister is actually on the platform. I'm just trying to locate the team there, just to make sure that we also check Minister Tolachi. Madhu,
Hi, Zama.
can we check Minister Tolashe? Just check the video in the meantime. Sorry, I'm just sorting out something.
Okay. I think the colleagues may need to deselect the I have my green screen because at the moment you can see that the ministers disappears in other areas. So it's because that part is selected. So they just need to deselect I have my green, or I have a green screen, and then so that we don't see that it's like minister is on top of something else. I don't know if they can hear us.
So we must, you are saying we must do what? When it comes to the minister's screen?
You see, after you've loaded the background, so underneath there, on the background, there are areas where you either select the area or you deselect the area. So there's one part that says I have a green screen. So that part is the one that you need to make sure that it's deselected because we are not using the green screen.
Okay, let me check.
And it's the first one that Minister must respond to, so please,
Is it under video? Is it under video backgrounds?
Yeah, and under background. So when you go
No, I'm saying, will it be under video backgrounds, virtual backgrounds?
Okay. Yeah, so when you select when you go to the virtual background to select the background, you get a pop-up screen. So under those, you have the default screens from the default photos from Zoom, and then you'll have the background that you have just selected. So underneath those default screens, you will see a button that says, I have a green screen. So that's the one that you're going to deselect.
Okay. I have a green screen. I've deselected it, but still I'm not happy with the quality of the picture.
Let's see it. I'll tell you what would be
What you're seeing
honorable.
on this.
All right. Okay, so the issue now is the light, ne? It's the light. The light, it's behind the minister and above the minister. So we need to make sure that the light is in front. It's
it's in front.
It's in front.
It's in front. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in front, including the camera. On our side, it looks perfect. On our side, it looks perfect. I don't know on your side.
Do you have a light above the head of the minister?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you can do about that light? If not, it's okay.
Not much. There isn't much unless we switch off the room and then it will become dark.
It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. It's better than earlier though. So it's much better.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay.
You see, my head is upside down. Let's deal with that one, please.
It's because
Just turn your phone around.
Where must I go?
are using the tablet, right?
No, it's the laptop now.
But then how do
The tablet has failed. I don't know why.
Yeah, no way.
What's happening?
You have only 4 minutes to correct yourself. Please, please, please don't hang.
Otherwise, I'll not show, no problem.
Try next time, Honorable. I'm also failing on my side.
I don't see why this.
That Noah, why are you hanging upside down?
It's something that we are trying. It's something
the people
we are
walk
trying
up on
to
their
get.
head.
What do you do here to even connect to this video? What do you do? What must I do here?
No, there's something wrong. The video upside down like this.
Honorable Noah, they will call you. The colleagues will call you to assist you.
Can I be assisted as well?
Honorable Pala, how can we assist?
Yes,
Your
I
video
also
is not
need.
on, so your video is not on, so I'm not able to assist. Honorable Ngabo, I saw your video is on, and your video a little bit. We need to assist you. Can you please switch on?
Hello.
We can assist.
Yep. Are there? Hello. Is it Mr. Andipok? Yes, sir. You are the assistant for your background here. My background, I thought that is now it's clear because I've got what is it? That picture of Parliament at the back. Okay, so is it fine now?
From my side, I'm trying to, when I switch the video, it says cancel and setting. What do I do? What do I do here?
Hello, can you check mine as well? Yes, it is. Hello, Chair.
Hey, I'm gonna keep on the straight foot to it. This is the house sitting. I see you exercise, Anna.
Okay, Chair. All right, Chair.
Good afternoon, Zama. Can we continue? Are all the members here? Do we have a quorum, Benny?
Good afternoon, honourable members. In keeping with our practice, I will now bow to my left and bow to my right.
Recording in progress.
Greet you all. Honourable members, I now ask you all to please join me and observe a moment of silence for prayer or meditation. Thank you very much. Honourable delegates, I'd like to remind delegates that the rules, and in particular sub-rules 21, 22 and 23 of Rule 103 apply. Now, in accordance with the Council Rule 2291, there will be no notices of motions or motions without notice presented today. Honourable delegates, before we proceed to questions, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the Minister of Social Development, as well as all permanent delegates, MECs, and all special delegates, as well as the SALGA representatives to the House. I would further like to remind delegates that in terms of Rule 229 of the Council Rules, the time for a reply by the Minister to a question is 5 minutes. There will then be only 4 supplementary questions allowed per question, and a member who asked the initial question would be the first one to be afforded an opportunity to ask a supplementary question. The time for asking a supplementary question is limited to 2 minutes, and the time for reply to a supplementary question by the Minister is 4 minutes. The supplementary question must emanate from the original question. I now call on the Honourable Minister, Minister Solashe, welcome to our House, and ask you to respond to question number 41. Question 41 was asked by the Honourable Finis, and it requests information on the filling of senior management positions. Over to you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson of the House. Honourable members, one of my key priorities following my appointment as Minister of Social Development was to stabilize the department through the filling of key leadership positions. To this end, critical posts of Chief Financial Officer and Deputy Director General Welfare Services were finalized with Cabinet concurring with the appointments on the 26th of February 2025. The Director General's post was filled with the Cabinet concurring with the appointment on the 26th of March 2025. The remaining senior management posts identified will be filled during the 25-26 financial year that has commenced on the 1st of April. This will create the stability as well as service delivery efficiency needed by the department. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, if I can ask, your microphone is not very clear. If I can ask that you make sure it's pointing directly to your mouth, we would appreciate it for further responses. Let's ask Honourable Finis now and give Honourable Finis an opportunity to ask a follow-up question. Honourable Finis?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Minister. We congratulate the recently appointed officials, including the new Director General. Minister, what is the current vacancy rate of funded posts at the SMS level, and what impact do these vacancies have on service delivery? I thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Finis. Back to you then, Minister, for the response, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable members, the department has 80 permanently filled senior management positions and 21 vacant posts from Director to Director General positions, and all of them will be filled within this financial year as they are budgeted for. The vacancy at the SMS level does have an impact on service delivery. However, this is mitigated by acting appointments and the expeditious filling of posts, as would be seen from the appointment of the DG and DDGs having stabilized the leadership position. Priority now is being given to chief directors and directors. The recent filling of the DG and CFO, as well as DDG welfare social welfare positions, have resulted in reciprocal vacancies at chief director and DDG level. Chair, the department has advertised the executive director inspectorate post at the DDG level, and also filling of the SASSA CEO position is at advanced stage. We are in the process of filling the regional executive managers of SASSA. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. The next opportunity for a follow-up question will pass to the Honourable Du Plessis. Honourable Du Plessis.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Minister, the 2025 budget has a table showing staff numbers significantly in table 19.4 on page 378 that is of the estimates of national expenditure. It further shows that the staff complement in 2023-24 is at 711 staff, and it has dropped to 680 in 2024-25, with no significant increase in the current financial year. It is clear that your staff complement is decreasing with the work increasing, also while the budget keeps increasing, as well as an additional need for 1,279 social workers, with an estimated 9,000 qualified social workers currently unemployed in South Africa. And there's also the concern of the department's irregular expenditure that has increased in the past financial year. How will you ensure that the budget in the department is correctly spent on hiring of key positions that address the needs of the mandate of the department of ensuring social protection and promoting social development? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable du Plessis. Your response to that, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. The last point of the Honourable Member does cover exactly what is the department is hard at work doing. As a result, our structure is now complete. Indeed, because of the fiscal shrinking, we cannot expand anymore. However, what we have at the present moment has been extensively consulted with the relevant parties. The DPSA has played a role here as we have put this as against our mandate. We can safely say, even though there is increase, it's an increase that is not avoidable. With the matter of the social workers that are outside, already we're embarking on a strategy to make sure that you are making sure that you are working with all other stakeholders that can assist in this regard. Remember, Chair, as the Honourable Members is correctly saying, some of those social workers were trained by government, and this is why we have taken it upon ourselves to make sure that we extend our wings, to make sure that come to the next financial year, we'll be able to absorb a number of them, of course, working with other sister departments, with like subs and all other stakeholders. We've also get into negotiations with other departments as well as people who are outside the government for them to assist in this regard. This needs to be really addressed as soon as we can all do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Let's hear now from Honourable Sawisa for another supplementary question. Honourable Sawisa.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, can I keep my video off? Network is very bad where I am. Minister, South Africa continues to experience gender equality challenges in the workplace. Thus, evidenced by the wide and stubborn gap between men and women in senior management positions. In light of this lack of progress, what measures have you put in place to ensure that a genuine strategy to address gender inequality is taken in the filling of senior management positions in your department? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable
Thank you very
Sawisa.
much.
Back to you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Indeed, the Honourable Member is correct to raise the fact that we have found it very difficult to find women in strategic position. This is my direct experience when I was looking for a DG of the department as well as DDG and CEO of SASSA. I found it difficult. As such, I really would want government to do something in this regard. However, as the department, we've been able to appoint a woman CFO, a woman DDG, as well as we are targeting RAMs in TRASA to make sure that we balance the number. This is a matter that needs our attention, and this is a matter that is in my priority, and this is a matter that I am hard at work in making sure that I do address the gender imparity in the department by making sure that I look for women capable to really occupy the positions. Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you, Minister. It's now the turn of the Honourable Briet to follow up. Honourable Briet.
Thank you, House Chair. Honourable Minister, given the persistent underperformance in critical programs, how do you justify the slow pace and apparent politicization of senior appointments in your department?
Thank you, Honourable Briet. Back to you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Although I don't understand what the Honorable Member is asking, however, I must take this House into confidence that the position of the CEO that was appointed by the cabinet in 2024 is coming to an end. As a result, I've embarked on a process to make sure that I appoint a new CEO. Hence, I made mention of the fact that the process is very, very ahead. We are now awaiting for cabinet to make its own recommendations because everything has been concluded from our side. This is a clean process because we had to make sure that it becomes a clean because SASSA is expecting a permanent CEO to change things around. To an extent, we must say we are on really track to make sure that SASSA is at least being able to be assisted to get out of the quagmire that it was involved in. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, we move on to the next question now. The question is question number 50. It was asked by Honorable Nicola du Plessis and relates to the decrease in GBVF. Over to you for the reply, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. In responding to the question, the Department of Social Development works in collaboration with other role players, including government department and civil society, organizations and other NPOs in the service delivery and aiming at the ending of the gender-based violence and femicide. In this regard, the budget is not sitting in one department. It spreads to other departments, including NGOs and NPOs that are providing services in the space of gender-based violence and femicide. Department implements the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide in terms of the following pillars. Pillar 2, that talks to prevention and rebuilding the social cohesion. The other pillar, 623, which is 3, justice, safety, and protection. Pillar 4, which is response, care, support, and healing. Chair, I must make mention of the fact that last Tuesday, I really witnessed the handover of 5 properties by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure to our department in Gauteng. These shelters and this partnership, Chair, will furthermore build into the relationship that we are having in making sure that we deal with the sketch. Furthermore, the department is providing psychosocial services in the Tutuzela care centers and victims-friendly rooms in police stations. 4 Kuseleka one-stop center focusing on providing psychosocial support services and skills development to programs to victims of gender-based violence and femicide, having been established in 4 provinces, which is Limpopo, Northwest, Eastern Cape, and Western Cape. Chair, the department is hard at work together with other sister departments, as well as Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, to ensure that existing buildings are repurposed for gender-based violence services. In conclusion, Chair, the department condemns the increase of gender-based violence against children and women, and it is committed to end the scourge through partnership with other government departments and stakeholders. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable du Plessis, would you like to pose a follow-up question?
Thank you, House Chair. Honourable Minister, there are too many whistleblowers who are scared to speak up about the well-known Sex for Jobs system in South Africa. What will you and your department implement to ensure that this is eradicated in the public sector? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable du Plessis, and then back to you, Minister, for the reply, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Department of Social Development is one of the departments that is in the center of fighting gender-based violence and femicide. And as such, we are doing everything to make sure that we deal with anyone or any tendency that seeks to confirm that there's anyone who has been alleged embarking on this. So far, we have not been having anything in our records, nor anybody who came forward to make these allegations. But I want to assure this House, Chair, that we'll do everything according to our laws to make sure that those who are alleged will be dealt with decisively. As the country is going through difficulty of gender-based violence, there's no way that we can at any given time really tolerate anything that talks to gender-based violence and femicide. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Let's offer Honourable Feni the next opportunity to present a question. Honourable Feni. Honourable Feni, are you available? I don't see Honourable Feni on the platform. Let's move then on to the Honourable Chirwa Mpungose.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Am I audible?
You are indeed, ma'am. Please proceed.
I thank you, Minister. We want to find out to what extent are you encouraging the involvement of victims, of those who are being socially integrated back into society in that particular process? How is your department leveraging that process to be able to be inclusive of the voices of those who are the actual victims of these perpetrators that are being offered and given parole? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Chirwa Mpungose. And back to you then, Minister, for the response, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, I indicated that our centers are now, the department has introduced a multi-pronged approach to deal with the victims. We are doing so because we want to make sure that when they find time and are very lucky to get into our centers, they are being well looked after. There's no way that they can get secondary abuse, as we are working with all other relevant departments to make sure that we process them properly. Department of Health, SAMS, social workers ourselves, and everybody who's trained and professional in that regard. But again, Chair, we are embarking on a process which we have concluded in making sure that we repeal any existing legislation that seeks to leave behind the victims, as it has always been the case. We have made mentions of many of those that seeks to make sure that the victims are on the center of these cases so that their voices can be heard, but not only that, they are also able in a very comfortable space give their own evidence. They are also being looked after in being able to be reintegrated to the society. I can assure this House that this is being done at the moment by the department and all other departments. We also do provide skills into those victims who are in our centers so that we do address all the pillars, because majority of time women can walk away from their spouse whom they are abusing because they are the breadwinners. And this is why we provide skills to them so that as they will be reintegrated to the society, they can be able to be in charge of their lives, even economically. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. I do note that the Honourable Feni has reconnected. Honourable Feni, would you like to pose your supplementary question, please?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Also, thank you to the Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister, thanks once again with your elaborate answer to my question. How will the recommendations made by the health market inquiry regarding private healthcare influence the process of implementation of the NHI?
Thank you, Honourable Feni. Back to you, Minister, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. As members would understand that the NHI will be a responsibility of almost all departments, as DSD will also be on the center. And as such, we are part of the process that seeks to implement NHI in its totality. We are ready to get there because it talks to everything, especially our mandate. Of course, not all by ourselves, but with our NGOs that we are working with, as well as our NPOs. We'll make sure that we empower them and then understand all this that is enshrined in the NHI. We will also provide the universal access to health services in all times. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Minister. Let's go now to the Honorable Ngobo for her supplementary question. Honorable Ngobo.
Thank you, House Chair. Honorable Minister, transforming societal gender stereotypes and breaking down harmful masculinity is crucial in preventing GBVF. The Provincial Council of GBVF in Mpumalanga has pledged to work hard in creating a safer and more inclusive province for all. What role will traditional leaders play in supporting the government's efforts to combat GBVF, and how will the government measure the effectiveness of its policies and interventions in reducing GBVF cases over the year? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable
thank you.
Ngobo. Before you start, Minister, sorry. Honorable members, I do need to point out that the rules of the House apply to virtual sittings as well. And we must please therefore ensure that we are abiding by the rules and ensuring that we are not wearing party regalia. Minister, if I can ask you to respond to the question, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, we must make mention of the fact that traditional leaders are one of our most important stakeholders. We are not doing anything outside them. And as such, all the knowledge and wisdom that they have as the people who are working directly with people, especially in the rural areas, we do participate and we do really get those advices for them. We are also training some of them so that they can understand the concept of gender-based violence and femicide, so that they can be able even to understand the complicated issues of the family that we all know, and as South Africa, we're the only country that has recognized them. I wish to make sure that this House is taken into confidence for the fact that our provinces, in all our amendments, we do work together, we do exchange programs, we do build into our national days in order for us to celebrate together. Any wisdom and well-processed programs in all our provinces will indirectly be part of our program as we are forever working with them. Chair, we must once again emphasize that traditional leaders are one of our stakeholders, into an extent of having a clear partnership with them to make sure that together we fight the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, we now move on to question number 35. Question 35 relates to non-functional care centres, and it was originally asked by the Honourable Makasine. If you can respond to question 35, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson and the Honourable members. The renovations as per the scope of the work were completed and no work was outstanding. Hence the readmission of children from the 5th of April 2021 to date. The scope of work entailed the following: the maintenance of dormitories, ablution facilities, kitchen and replacement of kitchen equipment, maintenance in the admin block, and paint work inside and outside the building. Despite the center having been operational, continuous day-to-day maintenance on infrastructure is attended to when the need arises. The current renovation fall under the new scope of work and commence in August 2024. The scope of work entails the following: Chair, the replacement of security lines inside and outside, installation of solar panel security lines, servicing of generator, erection of additional carports, replacement of gate motor and wheels, and guide rollers. The institution is fulfilling its purpose and mandate of caring for the vulnerable children awaiting trials. The House must take into consideration the fact that all these children are brought into the institution by court orders. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Let's go to the Honourable Makasini for the supplementary question, please. Honourable Makasini.
Thank you very much, Minister, for the response of the center. Indeed, now I have observed that it's functional, but how much cost have we used for the renovation of this center? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Makasini. Short question for you, Minister.
Chair, the expenditure goes as follows. In the 2017-2018 financial year, it was 9,988,511. And the expenditure was 9,444,444.72. 2018-2019, the center was allocated 9,423,801. And expenditure was at 10,508,225. 2019-20, it was 9,809,000, and the expenditure went to 12,344,671. 2020-2021, the center was allocated 11,418,740, and the expenditure went up to 13,891,204. In instance of over expenditure as highlighted above, the department did a environment during and towards the end of the financial year to adjust the budget. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. You got me with a mouthful of oros there. Honourable members, the next opportunity for a follow-up goes to the Honourable Baines.
Good afternoon, Chair, and thank you. Good afternoon, Minister. Minister, I think that you covered actually my question. It was really detailed. I just want to add a question. Given that these renovations were done about 4 years ago, are there any additional renovations and maintenance planned for this facility? Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Baines. Again, over to you, Minister, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. As Honourable Baines is indicating that we have covered the question to say, as indicated in my response, there are day-to-day maintenances such as the scope of work falls under replacement of security lines inside and outside, the installation of solar panel system, security lines, services of generator, erection of additional carports, replacement of gate motor and wheels and guide rollers, paving, backfilling of swimming pool, and covering with a concrete current work. That's what is happening, and there are others as the need will arise. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. The next opportunity for a follow-up question falls to the Honourable Brits, and I'm told he has a question to ask. Honourable Brits.
Thank you, Honourable House Chair. Honourable Minister, this facility was designed to provide secure care for youth offenders. If you really care for and prioritize the rehabilitation and integration of youth into society, responsible officials would have been held accountable for possible mismanagement of public funds associated with this project. What have you done to hold responsible officials accountable in accordance with National Treasury regulations?
Thank you, Honourable Member. And again, back to you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Indeed, there was a report that suggests that at some point, the officials that were responsible with the process did something else. And as such, we are assured that they were taken through a process of disciplinary hearing. And that matter was concluded. And this is now something of the past, and the center is operational. I want to emphasize the fact that indeed this was identified and a process was followed to make sure that this matter has brought those people alleged to the book. And this is what we have as a report. Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you, Minister. Let's go now to the Honourable Farmer for the next follow-up question.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honourable Minister, what steps is your department taking to rebuild trust within the community and demonstrate transparency in the management of funds for projects like these. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Farmer. Your question again, Minister, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. As I've alluded to the fact that in the process of renovation, the department had an opportunity to further train and empower the management to make sure that they are ready and well skilled for them to be able to manage the center. This for us was quite important, especially when we got to realize that there are other things that we did not foresee when the center was established. And as such, we can safely say everybody is ready now to make sure that the center is run according to the legislative that exists and according to the expectation of the people who are occupying the center.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, we now move on to question number 42. Question 42 was asked by the Honourable Mokwele, and it relates to the SASSA card replacement, which is much in the news at the moment. If we can have your reply to question 42, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, let me firstly use this opportunity to acknowledge and thank all stakeholders and members of Parliament who joined us on the oversight visit that we undertook across the country to monitor the card replacement process for social grant beneficiaries. I also need to emphasize that the card replacement process being conducted by Postbank is not a SASSA process, but a regulatory requirement issued by South African Reserve Bank on the Postbank. However, SASSA Act 13 of 2004 is responsible for transferring funds to the bank of the beneficiary's choice. During my oversight visit to various card replacement sites in Western Cape in particular, I, upon arrival, found long queues of beneficiaries. People had traveled from far, and most beneficiaries also slept over in the centers so that they can be first in the lines as they were coming sometimes for the third time. Certain areas that are more rural, like Rabo and Caledon, did not have service sites as they needed to travel to Easterfield to get services. Chair, the inadequate personnel deployed in most of the sites showed the lack of dignity services. There were no chairs and toilets, which SASSA provided. There were network glitches that disrupted the process. I'm sorry. In one of the sites we visited, I personally observed how slow the process was, with only 13 cards being issued in 3 hours. Chair, I've had several engagements with the Ministry of Communication and Digital Technologies and insisted that we must take immediate action to address these issues and develop a workable plan to ensure a smooth and efficient card replacement process. I've also instructed SASSA to provide additional support to Postbank, especially in rural areas. SASSA immediately extend the targeted integrated community outreach program, which is used as additional sites for replacement of cards. Through this intervention, we were able to significantly increase the number of replacement cards for Postbank clients and also to provide support to those beneficiaries who choose to exercise their right to use a bank of their choice. Honorable members, I facilitated a direct engagement with South African Reserve Bank to seek their indulgence in terms of possibilities of extending the validity of the old cards for those beneficiaries who would not be migrated by the end of the extended period. The Reserve Bank has granted an extension for Postbank to continue using the gold card and ensure that beneficiaries are sorted. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honourable Mokwele, I'm sure you have a follow-up question for that. Honourable Mokwele?
Thanks very much, House Chair. Greetings to the Minister, honourable members in the platform, and those that are the special delegates, those that are in the platform, fellow South African. Thanks very much, Minister, for your response. Minister, we really appreciate that the deadline has been extended until the 31st of May 2025. But Minister, my question to you is that what will happen to the post bank clients? I'm referring to those pensioners who are receiving grant from the post. What will happen to them beyond May if they have not yet replaced their cards? I thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Mukwele. And Minister, I'm sure we're all looking forward to your response.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. The South African Reserve Bank has given an instruction to Post Bank to ensure that the gold card remains active and that Post Bank must honor all transactions on these cards until they are replaced, and thereby express a commitment to ensure that the social grant beneficiaries will not be compromised. However, we must be reminded that these cards were compromised by the Post Bank, and South African Reserve Bank cannot maintain them for an indefinite period in circulation. Should Post Bank not be able to meet the requirement of South African Reserve Bank to replace all the gold cards within the given time frames, their clients would be migrated to another bank or banks as per the South African Reserve Bank's original condition when the first variation notice was issued.
Beg your pardon, Honourable Minister. Honourable Khadebe, can we ask you to mute, please? Honourable Minister, will you finish replying?
Thank you. Yes, Chair. I finished to say, should Post Bank not able to meet the requirements of the South African Reserve Bank to replace all the gold cards within the given time frames, their clients will be migrated to another bank or banks as per the South African Reserve Bank original condition when the first variation notice was issued. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honourable members, the next follow-up question will come from the Honourable Brits again. Honourable Brits.
Thank you, Honourable. Thank you, Honourable Chair. Honourable Minister, in light of ongoing delays and difficulties faced by beneficiaries, especially those in rural areas, what urgent practical steps is your department taking to ensure that no one is left without access to their grants, and how will it effectively safeguard against fraud and financial mismanagement during this critical transition?
Thank you, Honourable Brits. And back to you for a reply, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, as I have indicated, that as SASSA, I took upon myself to interact directly with South African Reserve Bank, which is something that we had to do, having noticed that their plan, this post-bank plan, was not working. And as such, we are comfortable to announce that through those interactions, we were able to get yet another extension. Not only that, the South African Reserve Bank has assured us that if that happens, that at the time the very last extension will not be adhered to, the Reserve Bank allows us to encourage our pensioners or our grant recipients to be taken through all other banks beyond the Post Bank, which is the one that is failing us. Furthermore, Chair, when they could not really be able to cover rural areas, as I have indicated, we put a plan that was mitigating into that. Hence, we can today report a lot of progress that we have made after our intervention as SASSA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable members, it's now the turn of Honourable Kennedy to ask a supplementary question. Honourable Kennedy.
Thank you, House Chair. afternoon, Minister. Minister, what measures did you put in place to ensure that the transition of switching from SASSA Gold Card is a smooth process that is not hampered by any confusion, long queues, and technical problems as it happened? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Kennedy. It appears you missed the training session earlier. Nonetheless, Minister, over to you for a reply, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. As I have indicated on the progress that SASSA made in mitigating on the slow pace that we all experience and the devastation that our grant recipients went through, SASSA took upon itself not only to put ICROP in place, but also our communication as SASSA was strengthened to an extent we're talking directly to our grant recipients, especially those who are in post-bank, to encourage them that they must go and make sure that they do replace their cards. Chair, this was not out of problems. And this is why, as SASSA and DST, we made sure that we put all other mitigating processes in place. We have queue managers who make sure that people, when they stand on queues, they are well managed and they are a little bit secured because they were exposed in many other things. This is what we experience when we embark on our own visit into those areas. The staff has been able to be sensitized to make sure that in their individual areas in all 9 provinces, they do come in whenever that need arises to make sure that they assist in this regard. Chair, we can boast to say, if SASSA did not come in this process, we would have seen even more devastating processes or experience to our people. We are not proud of what happened. However, we did put a plan, and we can then say in this house that plan did work, and the numbers tell the story. We can submit those statistics on how we've turned the corner in making sure that the replacement became faster than it was after the SASSA intervention. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. The 4th follow-up question on question 42 will come from the Honourable Breert.
Thank you, House Chair. Honourable Minister, you have now extensively spoken to and admitted what the problem was with regard to the replacement black cards and what we've seen. And 2 weeks ago, we did have a meeting with your Deputy Minister, DM Hendricks, and we also raised a few questions there, and I'm hoping that would have gotten to you as well. Because yes, we face challenges with regards to long queues and long distances having to be traveled, but there is a specific subgroup of SASSA beneficiaries that was forgotten about. And those are the beneficiaries that are not mobile, that are in Afrikaans, we say betlê, that are homebound. 2 weeks ago, there was said that in due course, there will be plans on how to assist these people, and even phoning the call centers of both SASSA and the Post Bank, I was informed that they will be put on a list, and we just have to be patient and have to wait. So, Minister, I want to find out from you: has this been addressed? What is the plan to deal with these people who are bedridden and cannot get to these physical points? Because you would agree, we cannot forget about these people. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Breert. Minister, your reply to that, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. Indeed, this sector was almost forgotten. However, SASSA did put a plan after those interaction, and as such, we have now roving teams that seeks to visit those elder people and those who are using Post Bank for receiving their grants to make sure that they are being visited in their own homes and comfort for them to be assisted to replace their cards. This is what is happening at the present moment, Honourable Chairperson. We can submit to yourselves on where this is happening and how it's being done. but we can assure this House that that has been looked at and is being addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Minister, we now move on to question 28. Question 28 was asked by the Honourable Ngobo from KwaZulu-Natal and relates to the reduction of poverty rates. If we can have your reply to question 28 in your 5-minute window. Please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable members, our department is implementing a basket of poverty reduction program, which includes the following: the social assistance programs in the form of social grants, linking social protection beneficiaries to sustainable livelihoods opportunities, food and nutrition security intervention, funding of NPOs, development social welfare interventions, the NDA contribution to poverty eradication through civil society organization grant funding program. Honorable Chairperson, to stay within the allocated time, I will submit a detail of each program in my report for tabling. Chair, with regards to inequality, with the World Bank report has found that social grants reduce inequality by about 7 percentage points, which means that without these grants, the country would have a much higher level of inequalities. Furthermore, the commitment by government to at least maintain the value of the grants by ensuring that they are always adjusted for inflation rate has ensured that the beneficiaries are at a minimum protected from the erosion of their grants due to inflation. Almost all social grants values are above the monthly food poverty line of 760 rand, as respectively, exception for child support grant and grant which is currently 530, with the values of older persons grant, war veterans grant, disability grant, and care dependency grant also above the monthly upper bound level. Honorable members, we can also read for themselves on the effectiveness of our program from the independent academic studies from the University of Cape Town by Professor Harun Porat, Professor Ala Kasim, and the African Focus Journal of 27 January 2014, and Mohammed Zeik and Badar Alam Iqbal in the Southern African Development Journal, Volume 41 of 29 November 2024. Both these studies looked at the effectiveness of social grants in South Africa over the period of 20 years of existence of SASSA. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, if I can ask those reports that you've just highlighted now, if we can request that your parliamentary liaison officer just chat to the committee secretariat and submit those documents to the committee that they can be properly interrogated. Honourable Ngobo, I note that the Minister has suggested she's going to give you more detail in writing, but I'm sure you have a follow-up question nonetheless. Honourable Ngobo.
Thank you, House Chair. Honorable Minister, the government's investments in social grants is a step in the right direction, with 232 billion allocated to social grants in 2022 to 2023, benefiting 19 million people. However, we need to ensure these efforts translate into sustainable poverty reduction. What specific strategies will the department implement to ensure that social grants system effectively reduces poverty rates and bridges the socio-economic divide, particularly for the most vulnerable populations? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Ngobo. Then back to you, Minister, for further response.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson of the House, my response articulated on how we are making sure that beyond people receiving grants, we are embarking on other programs by working with NGOs and NPOs, and in the center is NDA that seeks to train and fund those institutions that can assist in contribution of this poverty eradication. This is named under the linking grant recipients to economics. This seeks to address exactly the question of the honorable member, that people should not stay in the grant forever, but those who are capable to work can be processed through and be able to be trained for them to work for themselves. This is happening at the moment in different provinces. Chair, as they are getting trained to be sustainable, they are also taught to save so that themselves, they are not only job seekers, they can be able to be creators of job themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. The next supplementary question will go to Honorable Feni.
Andiphinde ndibulele kuwe mhlali ngaphambili. Ndibulele nakuwe Minister ngengcaciso zakho zomgaqo-nkqubo karhulumente othe cha ukulwisana neengxaki esijongene nazo zentswelangqesho neengxaki esijongene nazo zendlala. Ndifuna ukuthi ke Minister ezi nkqubo uzibekayo ngaphambili zinkqubo noko nam endibonayo into yoba ngabana ziyahambiselana nomgaqo-nkqubo karhulumente osekelezelwe kunyaka ka-2030, le program i-NDP program karhulumente. Ndifuna nje ke ngokuminister kwezi nkqubo uzithe wazidakanca ngaphambi kwethu ukuqonda nje kwelakho icala ingaba kanti noko sikunika na ithemba lokuba ngabana sizawukwazi na izawukwazi ne-department ukulwisana nezi ngxaki sijongene nazo zendlala nezinye ezi busewuzithe wazithakanca ncakasane kwimpendulo yakho. Enkosi Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Feni. Honorable members, probably a good time to remind you, there is a translation facility available. If you click on the buttons at the bottom of your screen, you can activate the translation. But I'm sure, Minister, you got the question. And over to you for the reply, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Kuyinene okokuba asingeke siwufikelele lo sizibekele wona ukuba sibe ngonyaka ka-2030 siyitshayele sayisusa nengcambu indlala. Ndiyafuna ukutsho qala ukuze abantu bawuqonde lenyaniso. The target cannot be achieved by a single actor, but it requires collaboration with all sectors of society. Members will remember that the Section 27 of the Constitution recognized this by allowing for the progressive realization of social security. Poverty reduction requires a multi-sectoral approach that goes beyond a focus on food and to a broader anti-poverty approaches. Chair, poverty alleviation does not only concern itself with ensuring that everyone has sufficient income to buy food, but also other social protection initiatives such as education, housing, basic service, and healthcare. This requires a focus not only on the food production, distribution, and pricing, and so on, but goes on hand in hand with other sustainable development initiatives, such as access to land, capital markets, functional labor markets, adequate infrastructure, and the entire socio-economic landscape of a country. This also requires a multi-sectoral approach wherein all government departments, the private sector, and civil society work together to ensure that no one is left behind. This chair calls for a relevant government institution to remove those underlying structural barriers that limit the participation of vulnerable communities in the economy. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. The next supplementary question will come from the Honourable Paul Swart. Honourable Swart.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairperson. Good afternoon, Honourable Minister. Minister, I've listened to you. You claim to have strategies in place to reduce poverty. But we all know that poverty is becoming a crisis in South Africa. Poverty levels continue to rise in our country. We know that grants are not reducing poverty. Can you provide to this House what I actually want to hear is quantifiable targets from your department for real poverty reduction with specific programs that you have already been implemented under your leadership? Can you also share with us evidence of any success stories or measurable improvements that demonstrate real progress in reducing poverty, particularly in the most vulnerable communities? I thank you, Minister. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Swart. Your reply, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, as I have alluded to the fact that poverty reduction cannot be a one big department business because of many effects that I spoke about. The fact that the fiscus is shrinking, and as such, all that we would want to have and to do might not be able to be achieved by one department. However, we are as department embarking on a meaningful food nutrition programs which can be seen and visible in different provinces. We are at the center of building jobs through EPWP. We are working with NPOs that sometimes are funded by us and other stakeholders for purpose of sustainable livelihoods, as well as the social grants. I guess, Honourable Chairperson, we must accept the fact that grants are playing a meaningful role in making sure that it mitigates between our people and hunger, especially after the issues where the country was engulfed by COVID-19, wherein we had to introduce this SRD, limited as it is, but it does make a difference from people who lost jobs at the time, but also people who could not even embark on the small business that they had before the COVID-19. Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'm led to believe it's now the Honourable Kennedy that will be asking the next follow-up question. Honourable Kennedy.
Thank you, Honourable House Chair. Minister, what specific role have you played since coming into office in coordinating efforts with other government sectors, private institutions, and civil society organizations to ensure a more comprehensive and sustainable approach to poverty reduction? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Kennedy. And back to you, please, Minister, for your reply.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, the House must accept the fact that we can't work and do this work alone. However, as the DSD, we have been able to work with the Community Nutrition Development Centers in partnership with departments like health and other departments. We have pilot projects, for example, in Free State and Gauteng, of bricklaying, bakeries, and hair salons. This is an initiative that seeks to make sure that those younger people who are also victims of unemployment and poverty are also taken through in those trainings so that themselves they can be able to be employers to bring all others who are grant recipients into the economic line. We are doing this, Chair, in line or in partnership with organizations like NYDA, the Public Works, Labour Department, as well as private sector. This is what we are doing as a department to make sure that we eradicate poverty to our society. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. We now move on to the last set of questions. They will all be rooted in question 43, which was asked by the Honourable Sibande, and it relates to the SRD grant system. If we can have your reply to question 43, please, Minister.
Thank you once again, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable members, the outcomes of the vulnerability assessment and penetration test of the social relief distress system discovered the following. The assessment of the overall threat level for the SRD grant interface is classified as medium. Despite the overall threat assessed as medium, the vulnerabilities identified reveal several vulnerabilities, including potential issues with authentication mechanism, server configuration, data encryption, and missing security headers. These vulnerabilities create opportunities for attackers to exploit weak points in the system. I would also like to emphasize that the audit on the SRD online grant system was not an investigation, but an audit of vulnerability assessment and penetration of SRD online grant system. The outcome on the social relief of distress is used as an input for drafting the scope of work for full investigation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. And over to you, Honourable Sibande. You are still muted, Honourable Sibande. That's
Thank
better.
you. Yes. Thank you very much, House Chair. Thank you. Also, thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for your fabulous response. But nevertheless, I will ask a question that who will conduct the full investigation and how long is it expected to be concluded? I'll thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Sibande. And Minister, please reply to that.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. The service provider that will be selected to conduct the investigation will be appointed through the competitive bidding processes. Members will be informed of the appointed service provider as soon as practically possible. An independent service provider with extensive experience in investigating social grant fraud, relevant tools for conducting digital forensic investigation, and a national footprint. While I appreciate the urgency and priority to start and conclude the investigation within the reasonable period, it is quite difficult to determine the time frame to complete the investigation due to the following reasons, amongst others, Honourable Chair. The extensive scope of work that would be covered, the enormity of the fraud risk identified with various assurance providers such as Inspectorate, SASSA Internal Audit, DSD, and SASSA Management. Significant system weaknesses identified during the recently concluded audit on SRD online system. The complexity of information technology system involved in the administrating and managing all social grant types across all SASSA regions and periodic to be covered for investigation. In spite of the above, Chair, the Director General's Office will oversee the process to ensure that the successful appointment service provider concludes investigation with the reasonable time frame. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed, Minister. We now go to the Honourable Peter for another supplementary question. Honourable Peter.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings to the Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister, following the investigation instituted by the Minister of Social Development into the vulnerability of the COVID-19 Social Relief of Distress Grant application system, prompted by whistleblower reports of fraud and manipulation, The South African Social Security Agency has outlined several interventions to strengthen cybersecurity, enhance account verification, and introduce biometric authentication to curb fraudulent activities. Given these developments and the reported cases of identity theft and fraud in the system, can the minister indicate which provinces or regions or local municipalities have been identified as the most affected by fraudulent SRD grant activities? And how many grants have subsequently been suspended or withdrawn due to the suspected or confirmed fraud since these vulnerabilities were brought to light and the new security measures were introduced? I thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Peter. And then back to you for a reply, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Indeed, this process has exposed us to a number of challenges. Hence, SASSA put in a plan quite earlier than now, as there were suspicions already. We can safely say, for now, Gauteng and the Eastern Cape are two provinces that showed a lot of those. And we can safely report to say it went up to almost 1,100. This process is still unfolding, Honourable Chairperson, and as such, we cannot conclude. As honourable members might have seen, the institutions that is responsible to deal with those who are alleged, making sure that they are behind bars, meaning that the work that SASSA is doing is bearing a very, very progressive fruits in that regard. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for that reply, Honourable Minister. The next question will come from the Honourable Teza.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Minister. Minister, given that the audit outcomes uncovered medium-term weaknesses in online applications and payments, which could compromise the system's integrity, what measuring scale did you use to arrive at the conclusion that the risk level is medium-term and not high risk, as threats which the report describes fit the description of high-level risk? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Back to you, Minister. Yes, sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. This process is informed by this first round investigation or trying to find what went wrong. These are the findings that informed us on the process that I've just articulated. Yes, Chair, we're unable to conclude. Hence, we then said there is now a process that is about to unfold, wherein we are going to appoint a service provider that is well informed and well versed on this. And out of that, we'll bring those outcomes to this august house for the house to see for themselves on the work that we have done. We are very hard at work, Chair, and want to commit to say, as SASSA and GSD, we shall not tolerate any corruption that takes place within our systems, as this is made for the most vulnerable. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Sorry, members, the slight freezing of the screen. Honourable members, we go now to the last supplementary question of the day, and that will be asked by the Honourable Gotzel. Honourable Gotzel.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, and good afternoon, Minister. Minister, social grants should be funded by cutting waste and not by raising taxes on struggling families. Now, this is the real vulnerability of the system. So, Minister, my question to you is whether your department is planning for the influx in social relief that will most certainly be sought from the state if the ANC, the Patriotic Alliance, and other popcorn parties plan to tax South Africans more succeeds?
Thank you, Honourable Godsell, and then back to you for the last reply, please, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, honourable members will be aware of the fact that the Social Development Department as well as SASSA are dispatching grants to its own rightful people. This is a process when only the Treasury has been able to give that money from the Treasury to social development towards SASSA. This is the responsibility of all other departments to make sure that the money that is limited or very limited taxes that we are getting are also made to benefit for the poor. And this process is being done outside DSD and SASSA, but processed by the Treasury in this regard. And we then receive on an annual basis hours that we are supposed and expected, as according to the law, to dispatch those to the most vulnerable in the process that SASSA is responsible for. Chair, I might not be able to get into politics. Ours is to make sure that the most vulnerable do participate and do get what is due to them as with the Constitution of the Republic. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honourable delegates, I'd like to thank the Minister for her availability and for her responses today. And I'd also like to thank all MECs, all permanent and special delegates, and of course the SALGA representatives for availing themselves for today's sitting. Honourable delegates, that concludes the business of the day, and the House is therefore adjourned. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Chair.